Are you ready for this? Okay. This is at a high school in North Carolina, Greensboro. High school is named Southern Guilford High School. And a 14-year-old girl is just sitting in the room, probably doing her homework, maybe writing some papers, writing English. And guess what happens? 8 people burst in and start assaulting her. And you know what else? One of those people was one of the parents. Yeah, the wheels have come off, if you haven't noticed by now.
This is the attack inside a Southern Guilford High School classroom on Tuesday. 6 students and 2 adults, one 18 and a 37-year-old parent, seen hitting and kicking a 14-year-old girl.
To think that they would bring that type of activity to a school was very disturbing. Instead of trying to help talk them down out of this, we found ourselves with a parent who actually participated in the assault.
Guilford County School Resource Captain Brian Hall says the group involved students and adults not affiliated with Southern High. They were retaliating over an argument at a bus stop on Monday.
As soon as she noticed that people were coming in the classroom, they just converged upon her, and she was struck several times. She had minor injuries, basically just bruises and scrapes to the face.
The group got into the school through the front door as 2 students walked out and the doors were closing.
It was one of those just vulnerabilities that they were able to exploit that I don't think you could have handled with additional SROs or cameras or locks or anything like that.
It is very infuriating and frustrating as a parent that I cannot even trust that my son is safe at school.
More than 24 hours after the attack, Southern Guilford parents like Misty Reagan were notified. She's thankful weapons weren't involved, but says action must be taken to keep this from happening again.
Thank God we're not having a different conversation. You've got another opportunity. What are you going to do to fix it?
Paul says the sheriff's office is working with Guilford County Schools to review safety policies.
We deserve answers. It's ridiculous, and I don't want to be the recipient of a phone call one day whose child suffered, being attacked or being shot. I don't want that to happen to anybody else either.
Misty, I understand your worries, but ultimately, this really wasn't the school's fault. I mean, you have vulnerabilities in any kind of institution. What can you do? There were 8 of them. They were going to probably find a way to get in somehow. Your anger is misplaced. Your anger should be voiced at those who did this. This is insane. Let's go ahead and read a little bit. Hall, who is that SRO, told Fox 8 that there needs to be a shift in culture, including tougher consequences for students who start violence. Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a moment. We have to get to the point where we have no tolerance for that sort of activity. You know what that means, right? Students are going to be sent home because they drew a boxer on a binder, right? They got a boxer, right? Oh my God, this is depicting of violence. Send him home. That's what's going to happen. That's where the no tolerance crap starts to go. It's preached to them already. Okay, it's preached to them that if you engage in this sort of conduct, you will not have the right to come to this school and continue to disrupt everybody's education. Yeah, that preaching did a lot of good, didn't it? No one was arrested on Tuesday, but deputies expect charges on Thursday. The sheriff's office is working to get warrants on charges of misdemeanor assault, okay, inciting a riot, and first-degree trespassing for the people who do not attend the school. The 6 juveniles will be charged on a juvenile petition. Now let's read up above here a little bit because there's some interesting things that have been said. This was clearly a targeted attack on one student, not a random act of violence. This is the SRO. Students began to assemble a group of friends aging between 16 and 18 with a plan for the 16-year-old girl to let the group into the school, deputies say. Now keep in mind, the victim is 14. So they got 8 people together, all of them at least 2 years older than her, one of them a parent, to go beat her up. Okay, so how did they get in? Well, 2 other students walked out of a locked door and they slipped through. It happens. It's hard to really stop that kind of thing. Now, here's something interesting. The 16-year-old girl allegedly led the group up to an upstairs classroom. Now, can you picture this? You have a bunch of kids being led by a 16-year-old, and one of the people that's also in the group is a parent. This parent is allowing a 16-year-old girl to lead her up to a classroom so that she can help participate in beating the crap out of her. They just converged upon her, and she was struck several times, Hall said. She had minor injuries, basically bruises and scrapes to the face. Now, I want to go back again. This one here. Students began to assemble a group of friends aging between 16 and 18 with a plan for the 16-year-old girl to let the group into the school. Why are they not being charged for conspiracy? Hey, look, if you want dire consequences for behaving like this, you have to come out with the charges that are going to produce those kind of consequences. Let's take a look again at the charges they have put on them. Right here. Misdemeanor assault. Okay, that's probably 30 days in jail, $1,000 fine, maximum. Inciting a riot. That sounds serious. It's really not. It's probably, again, like 30 days and maybe $1,000 fine. And first-degree trespassing. Again, 30 days maybe a fine of some sort. Even if you have them serve this thing consecutively, it's only 90 days. But conspiracy is much more serious. So why haven't they charged them with that? I don't get it. You want no tolerance? Zero tolerance? Well, why are you not charging them with the most serious crimes that apply? There is clear evidence that conspiracy took place. And with 8 people, especially with juveniles, it's not going to be hard to get them talking. They will jabber all day long about the planning that they did. It would be easy to come up with all the evidence that you want to support that charge, and yet they're not being charged for that. Makes no sense to me. Like my video, subscribe to my channel.